I was turning 25, but in my parents' house, age didn't matter. I was still the extra, the one who never measured up to my younger sister Brianna, who was 23 and their shining star. That evening, the living room glowed with balloons, guests, and a chandelier light that made the whole place look like a palace. But it wasn't my palace. It was her stage. Dad walked in carrying a small velvet box like it was a crown jewel. Everyone leaned forward as he stopped in front of Brianna. He opened it with a flourish, and the sparkle of a diamond necklace hit the light. "For my princess," he said proudly, his voice carrying across the room, "because only diamonds deserve diamonds." Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. The crowd clapped, whistled, and Brianna tossed her hair, lifting her chin as if she were already royalty. She ran her fingers over the stones, smiling like she was born for the spotlight. Mom dabbed her eyes, pretending it was emotional. "Our girl deserves everything," she said, loudly enough for everyone to hear. Her eyes flicked to me. "Some of us are just lucky to be in the room." Then Dad turned, grinning in that way that always meant trouble. He reached behind the counter and pulled out something plastic-wrapped. My heart thumped. Was it finally a small gift for me? Maybe not diamonds, but something? No, it was a mop. He shoved it into my arms. "And for you," he announced, the grin twisting into mockery. "A gift you can actually use. Clean the floor before you eat." The room exploded with laughter. Some of the guests doubled over. Others hid their smirks behind their hands. My aunt leaned to my uncle and muttered, "At least they're giving her something useful." Brianna laughed the loudest, holding her necklace up to the light like she wanted to blind me with it. "Careful, sis," she smirked. "Don't trip over the mop. We wouldn't want you ruining my night." I froze. The mop handle dug into my palms, the plastic crinkling loud in my ears. The birthday cake sat in the center of the table, its candles burning down, but no one told me to make a wish. They were too busy laughing at mine. "Go on, girl," Dad barked, slapping the back of the chair. "The floor's not gonna shine itself. Be useful for once in your life." Mom sipped her wine and leaned closer, her voice sharp and cruel. "At least with that mop, you finally look like what you are. Hired help." The laughter swelled again. Someone snapped a photo. Brianna tilted her chin, resting her hand on her necklace. "Happy birthday, sis," she purred, eyes glittering. "Diamonds for me. Dirt for you." My face burned, my stomach turned, but I didn't move. I didn't scream or throw the mop. I gripped it tighter, my knuckles white, and bent down. The sponge squeaked against the tile as I pushed it across the floor while the sound of their laughter echoed above me. Every squeak felt like it was erasing a piece of my pride, but something else burned underneath the shame, something hotter, sharper. Rage. "Look at her," Mom announced to the room. "Even on her birthday, she knows her place." The guests chuckled, their voices blending into one big roar. I scrubbed harder, the mop sliding back and forth, water streaking across the tiles. They thought I was breaking. They thought I was on my knees, small and beaten. But while their laughter rattled the walls, my silence was building something they couldn't see. Brianna's voice cut through the noise. "Don't forget the corners, sis. Trash likes to hide there, just like you." My grip tightened until my hands hurt. I kept my head down, my hair falling into my face, but inside I swore something I couldn't unswear. This would be the last time they laughed at me. When the floor was spotless and my shirt damp from sweat, Dad clapped his hands mockingly. "Good girl. Now grab yourself a paper plate. Plastic forks are in the drawer." Brianna raised her glass, her necklace catching the chandelier light. "To the mop girl," she toasted, and the room howled with laughter again. I set the mop carefully against the wall, staring at the floor. It gleamed back at me, spotless, almost mocking. My chest rose and fell with a quiet fury. They thought this was their victory. They thought they'd humiliated me into silence, but in that shine I saw it clearly. Dirt always comes back. And when it does, it spreads. And so would I. The party dragged into the night, but the laughter didn't fade. After the last guest left, the house still smelled like wine and cake, and the walls still echoed with mockery. Dad dropped into his recliner with a beer, shaking his head like it was the funniest night of his life. "Did you see her face?" he chuckled, pointing right at me as if I weren't there. "She actually held that mop like it was a prize. God, that's pathetic." Mom stretched out on the couch, swirling her glass. "At least she finally did something right. I've been saying for years, the only thing she's good for is scrubbing floors. Tonight just proved it." Brianna leaned back, the diamond necklace glittering against her throat, her lips curled into that smirk that always made my skin crawl. "Honestly, Dad, next year just get her a bucket. That way she'll really look the part." Their laughter filled the room again, cruel and sharp, cutting deeper than any slap could. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I went into the kitchen and started clearing plates, each scrape of fork against china echoing in my head like a countdown. From the living room, I heard Dad's voice, louder, bolder with beer. "Truth is, we should be grateful she was born at all. At least she can serve the real child." Mom snorted. "God doesn't make mistakes, but she came close." Their voices carried, and Brianna's giggle cut through them like glass. I stood at the sink, water scalding my hands, staring out into the darkness of the backyard. My reflection glared back from the window, eyes swollen from holding back tears, but sharper than ever before. That night I didn't sleep. I lay in bed with the mop leaning in the corner, the room reeking of humiliation. Every word they spoke replayed in my head, twisting and turning until something inside me hardened. The next morning, Mom barged into my room, clapping her hands. "Up! Brianna's boyfriend is coming for brunch, and this house needs to shine. You're not here to laze around like trash." I got up without a word. I cleaned, I cooked, I set the table. But my silence unnerved them in ways they didn't understand. At brunch, Brianna wore her necklace like armor, shoving it into her boyfriend's face. "Isn't it gorgeous? Dad says it's flawless, just like me." Her boyfriend smiled awkwardly but said nothing. Dad slapped my shoulder hard. "You jealous, huh? Some girls get diamonds, others get mops. That's life." Mom leaned forward with that cruel smile she wore so well. "Be grateful we even feed you. Other families would have dumped you out years ago." The table erupted with laughter again, but I stayed still, staring at them. My silence wasn't submission anymore. It was a blade. Dad noticed first. He squinted at me, his smile faltering. "What's with the face? Got something to say?" I met his eyes. Calm, cold, no need. The whole table went quiet for a beat. Even Brianna's smirk faltered. For the first time in years, Dad looked away first. That tiny crack gave me fuel. The days that followed were a blur of more taunts, more cruelty. Mom hissed that I was ungrateful. Dad barked orders like I was a maid. Brianna paraded her necklace everywhere, daring me to react. But I didn't, not a word. Instead, I watched. I listened. And in my silence, I saw them more clearly than ever. Their weakness wasn't me. It was their pride. The perfect house. The perfect daughter. The spotless image they paraded to the neighbors. They mocked me with a mop. They thought dirt defined me. But I understood something they never would. Dirt doesn't disappear. It builds. It festers. It spreads until it swallows everything. And soon, so would I. The week of Brianna's big promotion dinner arrived, and the house buzzed like a stage before a show. Mom barked orders, Dad strutted around bragging, and Brianna twirled in front of the mirror, letting that diamond necklace catch every light in the room. "Don't screw this up," Mom hissed at me while arranging the table. "Important people are coming. Smile, serve, and stay quiet." Dad added with a smirk, "If anyone asks, you're the help. It'll save us the embarrassment." I nodded, keeping my face blank, but inside the plan I'd built in silence was finally ready. The dining room was dressed to perfection. Candles, silverware, polished glasses. Neighbors, co-workers, and Brianna's boss filled the seats, their voices a low hum of approval. Brianna walked in last, glowing in a silk dress, the diamond necklace sparkling like a spotlight. Dad tapped his glass. "To my daughter, the jewel of this family," he boomed. Everyone clapped, everyone but me. That's when the smell hit, Sour, sharp, undeniable. Guests started shifting, wrinkling their noses. One woman fanned herself with a napkin. "What's that?" she whispered. Mom leapt up, frantic. She spotted it, 2 overstuffed garbage bags I had dragged in from the kitchen and left by the corner, wide open, their stench filling the room. Food scraps, dirty rags, spoiled milk, it all sat in plain view under the chandelier's glow. "Excuse me!" Mom shrieked, lunging toward me. "Why didn't you take this out?" The room fell silent. All eyes turned to me. I stood slowly, my voice steady and cold. "Because diamonds don't touch dirt. Isn't that what you always said?" For the first time in years, no one laughed. Guests whispered, eyes darting from the necklace on Brianna's chest to the rotting trash beside her promotion dinner. Brianna's face went red, her hand flying to her necklace as if she could hide it. "This isn't funny," she snapped. "Get it out now!" I didn't move. "No," I said, clear enough for everyone to hear. "I've cleaned your floors, your plates, your lives. Tonight, you clean your own." Dad's face turned purple. He slammed his glass down, shattering it across the table. "Ungrateful brat, get out before I—" "Before you what?" I cut him off, my voice sharper than his. "Tell them I'm useless? Tell them I'm trash? Look around. Your perfect dinner smells like what you really are." The guests shifted uncomfortably. Some covered their mouths. Brianna's boss muttered something under his breath, unimpressed. The image they clung to so desperately, the spotless family, the flawless daughter, was cracking in real time. Mom reached for the garbage bags, gagging as she tried to drag them away. Dad shouted at her to hurry. Brianna screamed at me, but her voice cracked, and the more they flailed, the clearer it became to everyone in that room. The dirt wasn't me. It was them. I set the mop, the same one they mocked me with, upright against the wall. "Happy birthday to me," I said quietly, then walked out. The door slammed behind me, but their voices carried through the walls, panic, anger, the sound of their pride crumbling. Word spread fast. Neighbors gossiped about the stench. Brianna's co-workers whispered behind her back, calling her Princess of the Trash Palace. Dad's colleagues pulled away. Mom stopped hosting because no one wanted to sit at a table where the smell of humiliation lingered. And me? I didn't clean it up. I didn't fix their mess. I left them in the dirt. Exactly where they had left me all my life. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.